So hi and welcome to your ENG 6301 Engineering Management. So this topic discusses week 6, staffing the engineering organization. Okay, so for the objectives, establish a basic ground of what staffing, identify and appreciate the basic process of staffing and its benefits, develop staffing techniques in order to be an efficient engineer manager, address company issues with an effective staffing management application. Okay, so for the introduction, engineering organizations are very sensitive to whatever staffing errors are made. Okay, placing the wrong person in a highly specialized position like quality control, for instance, may bring untold damage or damages to the firm. Okay, so the success of any organization doesn't depend upon the physical and financial resources, okay, but it depends upon the utilization of these resources by human resources. So a hardworking and efficient people are the most important asset of an organization for its success. So staffing function is concerned with bringing the right and efficient people in the organization. So what is staffing? Okay, so staffing may be defined as the management function that determines human resources needs, recruits, selects, trains, and develops human resources for jobs created by an organization. The staffing is undertaken to match people with jobs so that the realization of the organization's objectives will be facilitated. Okay, so staffing is the process of acquiring, deploying, and retaining a workforce of sufficient quantity and quality to create positive impacts on the organization's effectiveness. So the very goal of staffing is to match people with jobs so that the realization of the organization's objectives will be, of course, facilitated. So as an engineer manager, one must be concerned with putting the right persons in various positions within his area of concern. So the great responsibility in assuring that the right persons are assigned to positions that fit their qualifications. Okay, so here we have the 8 steps in staffing process. Okay, first we have the human resource planning, then recruitment, selection, induction and orientation, training and development, performance appraisal, employment decision, of course, the last one, separations. Okay, so let's start with the human resource planning. Okay, so the planned output of any organization will require a systematic deployment of human resources at various levels. Okay, so human resource planning is the first step in staffing, and it is defined as the ongoing process of systematic planning to achieve optimum use of an organization's most valuable asset. Okay, that is its human resources. And of course, the objective of human resource planning is to ensure the best fit between employees and jobs while avoiding, of course, the manpower shortage. And we have human resource planning may involve 3 activities as follows. The first one is the forecasting, which is an assessment of future human resources needs in relation to the current capabilities of the organization. Okay, next, we have the programming, okay, which means translating the forecasted human resource needs to personnel objectives and goals. Okay, of course, the last one is the evaluation and control, which refers to monitoring human resource action plans and evaluating their success. Okay, so we have different methods of forecasting. The first one is the time series methods, okay, which use historical data to develop forecasts of the future. We also have the explanatory or casual models, okay, which are attempts to identify the major variables that are related to or have caused particular past conditions, and then use current measures of these variables to predict future conditions. And of course, we have the monitoring methods, are those that provide early warning signals of significant changes in established patterns and relationships so that the engineer manager can assess the likely impact and plan response if required. And then we have also the recruitment. Okay. So it refers to attracting qualified persons to apply for vacant positions in the company so that those who are best suited to serve the company may be selected. Okay, so recruitment is defined as the process of searching for prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for jobs in the organization. So the organization has to disclose the contents of the job description and this and desirable profile of the occupant developed in the previous stage in the advertisement called the situation vacant. Okay, so the advertisement may be displayed in the factory gate, or in print media, or in flash in the electronic media, and of course, through the internet. So both internal and sources and external sources of recruitment should be explored. Okay. Then we have different sources of applicants. Okay. The first one is the organization's current employees. Okay. Then we have the newspaper advertising. Actually, this is the most common before. Okay. And then we have schools, okay, usually from job fair. We also have referral from employees. Then we have recruitment firms. We also have competitors, okay. The best thing you need to do is get the best employee from other company and offer him higher salary, okay. And of course, we have the internet. This is the most common today. Now, selection. So selection refers to the act of choosing from those that are available individuals most likely to succeed on the job. Okay. So the purpose of selection is to evaluate each candidate and to pick the most suited for the positions available. And of course, selection procedures may be simple or complex depending on the cause of a decision. Okay, actually, we have selection serves two important purposes. Okay, the first one is the organization gets the best among the available. And of course, number two, it enhances the self-esteem and prestige of those selected. Okay, so if the management picks the wrong person and the subsequent effect to the organization is negligible, then the selection process is made simple. Subsequently, when the position under consideration involves special skills, a more elaborate selection process is undertaken. Ways of determining the qualifications of a job candidate. Okay, so first we have the application banks. Okay, so it provides information about a person's characteristics, okay, such as age, marital status, address, education, background, experience, and of course, special interest. Okay, after reading the application bank, the evaluator will have some basis on whether or not to proceed further in evaluating the applicant. Of course, we have references. Okay, are those written by previous employers, co-workers, teachers, club officers, etc. Okay, so the statement may provide some vital information on the character of the applicant. Then we have the interviews. Okay, asking a series of relevant questions. Okay, so information may be gathered, okay, in an interview by asking a series of relevant questions to the job candidate. And we also have the testing, okay, evaluation of the behavior or performance of an individual. Okay, so we have different type of tests. Okay, the first one is the psychological test, which an objective standard measure of a sample behavior. So it is classified into aptitude tests. Okay, one used to measure a person's capacity or potential ability to learn. And then we have the performance test. Okay, one used to measure a performance current and knowledge of a subject. Okay, then we have also the personal test. Okay, one used to measure a personality trait as dominance, sociability, and conformity. And we have the interest test. One used to measure a person's interest in various fields of work. And you also have the physical examination, okay? Assesses the physical health of an applicant. Now let's proceed with the induction and orientation. So we're done with the human resource planning, recruitment, selection. We'll proceed with the induction and orientation. So when we say induction, the employee is informed about the duties and responsibilities. Okay, so the new employee is provided with the necessary information about the company. Then, of course, for the orientation, it is the socialization process. Okay, in orientation, the new employee is introduced to the immediate working environment and coworkers. Okay, orientation means introducing and familiarizing new appointed candidates through the following manners. Okay, one, brief presentation about the history of the company. Okay, so introduction of superiors, subordinates, and his colleagues. Okay, and they are taken around the workplace. And of course, familiarizing the policies, rules, and regulations in various facilities available. Then we have the training and development. So training refers to the learning that is provided in order to improve performance on the present job. Okay, so training means an act of improving knowledge and skills for doing a specific job. Okay, the employees are imparted training to improve their performance and to update, of course, their knowledge to match the requirement of the external environment. Okay, so training is the process of improving the job knowledge, okay, and skills of employees so as to enable them to perform well. It is an organized activity wherein people acquire knowledge and skills for doing a specific job. Okay, so two types of training program. Okay, we have training program for non-managers, and of course, we have training and educational programs for executives or managers. So training for managers, The training for managers may be classified into 4 areas. Okay. Number 1, we have the decision-making skills. Okay. Next, we have the interpersonal skills. Then we have the job knowledge. And we have the organizational knowledge. Okay, now training for non-managers and managers. Okay, so for non-managers, we have what we call the on-the-job training. Okay, so this is a method where the trainer is placed in an actual work situation. Okay. We also have the vestibule or vestibule school. Okay, this is a method where the trainee is placed in a situation almost exactly the same as the work. Okay, vestibule school means duplicate model of organization. When the expensive and delicate machineries are involved, then employers avoid using on-the-job methods of the training. A dummy model of machinery is prepared to give training instead of using the original machinery. Okay, actual work situations are created and employees use the same materials and equipment. Okay, then we have also the apprenticeship. Okay, so apprenticeship program, this is a method where a combination of on-the-job training and experiences with classroom instructions in particular subjects are provided to trainees. Okay, so in this method, there will be a master worker or a trainer who guides the workers on the skills of the job and demonstrates the job also. The trainees will observe the demonstration carefully and learning the skills gradually. After getting the confidence, the trainees start taking up of the job and the master's worker or the master worker becomes the observer. So when the trainee becomes perfect, the master worker leaves by handing over the full charge of job position to the trainee workers. And we have the special course. Special course are those taken which provide more emphasis on educational or education rather than training. Then for managers, okay, so under methods of enhancing decision-making skills, so we have in-basket, okay, where the trainee is provided with a set of notes, messages, telephone calls, letters, and reports, all pertaining to a certain company situation. He's expected to handle the situation within a given period of time. Example, it's 1 or 2 hours. Okay. Then we also have management gains. Okay. So the trainees are faced with a simulated situation and are required to make an ongoing series of decisions about the situation. And we also have the case studies. Okay. It presents actual situations in organizations and enable one to examine successful and unsuccessful operations. And under methods of developing interpersonal competence, okay, we have the role playing. Okay, so the trainees are assigned a role to play in a given case incident. And we also have behavior modeling. Okay, attempts to influence the trainee by showing model persons behaving effectively in a problem situation. Then we have the sensitivity training. Okay, so under this method, awareness and sensitivity to behavioral pattern of oneself and others are developed. And of course, we have the transaction analysis. Okay, so intended to help individuals only to understand themselves and others, but also to improve their interpersonal communication skills. Next, What are the methods that manager currently holding in acquiring knowledge? Okay, so we have the on-the-job training. It provides valuable opportunities for the trainee to learn various skills while actually engaged in the performance of a job. Then we have the coaching. A senior manager to assist a lower level manager by teaching him. Okay, so under this method, the superior or senior manager will take the role of a coach. Okay, the superior and trainees together will set mutually agreed goals. Then the superior suggests the trainees how to achieve the goals by giving guidance and instructions. The performance of the trainee will be reviewed periodically by the superior. The superior will suggest required changes in the behavior and performance of the trainees in order to overcome their weakness and, of course, make their strength more strong. And then we have the understudy. Okay, a manager works as assistant to a higher level manager and participates in planning and other managerial functions until he is ready to assume such position himself. Then methods used to increase the trainee's knowledge of the total organization. Okay, so we have the position rotation. So the manager is given assignments in a variety of departments. Then we have the multiple management, premised on the idea that junior executives must be provided with means to prepare them for higher management positions. Okay, we also have the performance appraisal. Okay, so performance appraisal is the measurement of employee performance or an act of evaluating the employee. Okay, so the purpose for which performance appraisal is made are as follows. Okay, so the influence in a positive manner, employee performance and development. Okay. Then to determine merit pay increase, to plan for future performance goals, to determine training and development needs, okay, and of course, to assess the promotional potential of employees. So ways of appraising performance. So number one, rating scale method. Okay, so the rating scale method, rater indicates the degree to which the individual possesses the trait or characteristics. We also have essay method. The evaluator composes a statement that best describes the person evaluated. Then we have the management by objectives method. Okay, specific goals are set collaboratively for the organization as a whole, for various subunits, and for each individual member. Okay, and we also have the assessment center method, where one is evaluated by persons other than the immediate super or superior. Okay, so ways of appraising performance. Okay, continuation. We also have the checklist method. So the evaluator checks statements on a list that are deemed to characterize an employee's behavior or performance. And then we have work standards method. Okay, standards are set for the realistic worker output and later on used in evaluating the performance of non-managerial employees. And of course, we also have the ranking method. Each evaluator arranges employees in rank order from the best to the poorest. Of course, the last, we have the critical incident method. Okay, so the evaluator recalls and writes down specific but critical incidents that indicate the employee's performance. Then, employment decisions. Okay, we have the monetary reward. Okay, these are given to employees whose performance is at par or above standard requirements. And then we have promotion. Okay, so this refers to a movement by a person into a position of higher pay and greater responsibilities, and which is given to a reward for competence and ambition. Then transfer. Okay, this is the movement of the person to a different job at the same or similar level of responsibility in the organization. And then, of course, we have demotion. Okay, so this is a movement from one position to another which has less pay or responsibility attached to it. This is also a form of punishment. And of course, our last part is the separation. Okay, so we have what we call voluntary. It is the will of the employee to resign, and he must notify the company weeks before he resigns. Okay, actually, the standard in the Philippines is 30 days. Okay, and then we have the involuntary. For termination is the last option that the manager exercises when employee's performance is poor or when an employee violates the rule and regulations of the company. Okay, that's all for today, class. Thank you and have a nice day.